Good day! This is Teacher Rowan. I'll be your guide in exploring Google Apps for education, for teaching and learning. In Google for Education, teachers can connect and collaborate easily while staying on task. It gives teachers the freedom to spend more time personalizing the learning experience and less time managing it. Students can learn essential skills such as 21st century problem solving, which they can use it in their future careers. As such, the accessibility features will also help and assist every learner to do their best work. Google offers different useful applications that we can use to connect education to technology. This will help our teachers as a 21st century educators to innovate and find ways on how to make teaching and learning more exciting, engaging, effective, and flexible to the demands of the society. Let's re-explore the education experience by discovering new angles to create, collaborate, and communicate as one. Para sa bata, para sa bayan, at para sa guro. Ang pagkatuto huwag gawing komplikado. Sulong edukalidad.
Mabuhay! Good day to all! I am your tutor Madge. Welcome to ETUlay, a free online tutorial, an initiative of the Department of Education, Information and Communications Technology Service, Educational Technology Unit, ICTS EdTech. This program is aimed at helping and assisting learners from kindergarten, senior high school, ALS, Alive and SPED learners. Aside from answering the modules, the ETUlay is offering programs which you will surely look forward to. Together with our parents and teachers, the ETUlay will bridge the gap where difficulty and ease meet in learning new knowledge and skills. So, let us prepare our modules, pen and paper. Ready your mind to see and hear worthwhile and interesting lessons. Let us now study and learn, together with our volunteer online tutors. Tara na!
Good day everyone and welcome to another episode of DepEd EducationAlay online tutorial. I'm Tutor Bandong. Maybe you are wondering where is Tutor Kevin? Okay, si Tutor Kevin po ay may bagong biyayang dumating sa kanya, kaya congratulations Tutor Kevin, kaya he's not around today dahil meron siyang importanteng ginagawa. At yun nga ay tungkol dun sa kanyang blessing na dumating. Okay, so next meeting makakasama natin siya. And by the way, we are live. Okay, sana po ay i-share nyo itong link na ito sa tayo ay live at napapanood sa DepEd EdTech Unit. Official page po yan ng DepEd EdTech Unit sa kanilang FB page at DepEd Tayo, gayon din po sa kanilang YouTube channel. Alright? So, ayan. New Year ngayon. Happy New Year to everyone. Ito ang ating first episode for the year 2022. Binabati ko ang ating mga learners, teachers, and parents na nakatutok sa atin ngayong hapon na ito. Hello sa inyo. Salamat at sinamahan nyo kaming muli para sa ating week 6. Alam kong lahat kayo excited na at medyo iba ang boses ni Tutor Vando ngayon kasi talaga namang uso ang mga sakit-sakit. Talagang ako hindi rin masyadong nakaligtas. Although I'm okay naman at kaya andito ako para sa bata, para sa bayan. Ayan. At syempre ba, kahit wala si Tutor Kevin, meron naman akong kasama ngayong araw at iyan nga ay si Mima. Alam ko na-miss nyo si Mima pero meron kasing ibibigay sa akin si Mima ngayong araw na ito, ngayong hapong ito dahil yun ang aking merienda para daw sa aking kalusugan dahil alam niyo medyo hindi okay ang aking lagay ngayon. So Mima, pasok. Ayan na si Mima pero hindi pa siya magpapakita. Ang ipipakita lang niya ay yung kanyang ibibigay. Natakpan ako sa cam. Ayan. Thank you so much Mima. Ang bango-bango nito. Alam niyo yung amoy ng fruits na ito ay actually i-discuss ko nga ngayong araw na ito. Alam ko meron pa kayong mga fruits sa inyong mga lamesa dyan dahil mga tira nyo ng bagong taon, di ba? At actually yan bahagi, pero mamaya ako na ito pababalatan kay Mima. Dahil hindi pwedeng ako ay kumain habang nagdi-discuss sa inyo dahil interesting ang ating topic ngayong araw na ito. At ayun nga ay organic compounds. Alright? So last time, diniscuss natin na uses of organic compounds, no? This time, tayo naman ay magdi-discuss at ito ang ating most essential learning competency for this afternoon, no? Recognize the general classes and uses of organic compounds, and that is with the code S9MT-2H-18. All right? So yan ang ating MELS for this week, for week 6, no? And of course, ano naman ang ating mga learning objectives, no, for this week? All right, so the first one is differentiate alkanes, alkenes, and alkynes based on the presence of bonds and their physical properties. Ayan, so ayan yung ating first learning objective. And then another one, after discussing, you will be able to name different structures of hydrocarbons, alkanes, alkenes, alkynes, alcohol, aldehydes, ester, carboxylic acid, ether, amines, amides, and more. No? So identify also different functional groups and their uses in organic compounds. Okay, so yan yung mga i-discuss natin or yung mga matututunan nyo ngayong hapong ito. Alright, so now, bago natin simulan, no? Pero bago nga pala ako mag-pre-assessment, gusto ko munang bumati ng ating mga learners, no, na nakatutok ngayon. Siyempre pa, andyan, meron tayo from Cotabato City National High School, Rojas. Hello sa inyo dyan. Maraming salamat sa inyong pagtutok. Huwag kalimutang i-share ang ating live session today, no? Gayon din, nagpapabati ang mga taga DepEd tayo, Region 7. Hello po sa inyo dyan, DepEd tayo, Region 7. Ayan. At syempre pa, ang Malabon National High School ay lagi nakasuporta sa atin ang Santa Lucia National High School, ang Kabanatuan, okay, East District, Diamantina. Ayan, nandiyan lagi sila para tumutok sa atin. Ayan, maraming salamat, no, sa inyong pagtutok. Alright. So medyo talagang, ngayon, daming may sakit. Nakakaubusan na nga daw po. Allow me to drink water lang po saglit, ha. Ayan. So para maituloy lang talaga natin dahil ito ay para sa bata. Alright. So let's proceed now with our pre-assessment. Alright. So i-ready ang ating mga pen, paper, tsaka self-learning module. At ito ang ating direction. Now, read each question carefully, then choose the letter of the correct answer and code it in the chat box. Alright? So, the first question, ito naman ay tingnan natin kung meron lang kayong prior knowledge. So, I'm sure you have dahil medyo mahaba ang bakasyon. Alam ko, nagkaroon kayo ng advanced reading sa inyong mga module. So, here's our first question. So, which hydrocarbon compound incorporates a triple bond within the molecule? So, ayan ang ating first question. Is it A, ethene? Is it B, ethyne? Is it C, methane? Or is it D, octane? Alright. So, answer mo, show mo. Ayan na naman yung answer mo, show mo natin. No? Lagi natin naririnig sa ating grade 9 session. Alright, tingnan natin kung may prior knowledge, kung talagang eto mga nagdaang bakasyon, medyo meron dyan nag-advance reading. Hello sa mga taga Kauswagan National High School, Panabo City. Hello po sa inyo dyan. Right? So, Partida National High School, SDO Bulacan. Hello po sa inyo. Ramon National High School. Palagi nakatutok sa atin. Maraming salamat po. And Ma'am Eleanor Aquino. Hello, Ma'am Eleanor. I'm so thankful na talagang lagi kang nanonood sa amin, Ma'am Eleanor. Thank you so much po. Alright. Ayan. So, ano kaya ang sagot sa ating first question? And obviously, if it's a triple bond, mamaya you will know, no? It's an ethyne, all right? Ethyne. Okay, next, let's proceed with our second question. Okay, so here's question number 2. All right, so question number 2. Ethene is a gas produced in plants that acts as a natural ripening agent of fruits. Which organic compound has the identical ability to ripen fruits like ethene? Okay, so alin kaya dito? Is it A, acetylene? Is it B, butane? Excuse me. Is it C, pentyne? Is it D, propene? Ayan. So alin kaya dyan? Is it A, B, C, or D? Answer mo, show mo. Ayan, tingnan natin ang ating mga learners kung medyo may knowledge about this one. Kanina nagpakita ako ng mga fruits, no? Okay, so talaga namang tingnan natin kung alin dito ang tamang sagot, yung mayroong ability to ripen fruits. Alright? Hello po from Tala High School. Ayan, sumasagot na sila. Sabi ni Jester, it's A. Sabi ni Irish, it's A din. Alright? So, ano kaya ang tamang sagot dito sa ating question number 2? If your answer is A, okay, katulad ni Jester, well, you are correct. Okay? So, let's proceed now with question number 3. Okay, so you are seeing structural formula this time for question number 3. Okay? So, alin kaya dyan, or which is an expanded structural formula of an alcohol? Okay, so tingnan natin ang mga structures, no? Is it A, is it B, is it C, or D? Answer mo. Show mo. Tingnan natin kung mayroon nakakaalam ng structure ng alcohol. Ayan. Nagsasagot si Prince. Alright, so ayan, sabi ni Prince. Siguro kanina pa yun. Hello nga pala sa mga taga-Gafford High School. Ayan, hello sa inyo dyan. Alright, so alcohol yung alcohol kasi to na structural formula. So kung meron kayong prior knowledge, kitang-kita kagad kung alin dito yung tamang sagot. Okay? And obviously the correct answer to this is letter B. All right. Excuse me. Let's proceed with question number 4. Sorry medyo talagang pagka pala talagang nagsasalita ka continuously, no? Medyo yung ubo mo talaga hindi mo mapigil, no? Kaya pala, no, nakikita ko yung isa nating newscaster talaga, hindi niya mapigil din yung kanyang pag-ubo. Pasensya na kayo, talagang panahon talaga yata ngayon. Ano? Pero I'm already taking a lot of water and drinking medicines. All right. Number 4 question. It contains the carbonyl group and the substituent are R and R. So is it A, aldehyde? Is it B, alkyl? Is it C, carboxylic acid? Or is it D, ketone? Ayan, tingnan natin kung merong makakatamang sagot dito. Ayan, hello po from Tala High School. Yes, Jerome, yeah. Justine San Andres, hello. Alright, so kapag R and R, when we say R kasi it's any metal group ito. Okay, so tingnan natin, ano. Alright, so what is the correct answer to this? If it's an R and R, obviously it's a ketone, right? Next, let's proceed with the question. With the last question, or question number 5. Okay, so kung yung kanina, it contains the carbonyl group and the substituents are R and H, R and R. This time, R and H naman. So alin kaya dito yon? Is it A, aldehyde? Is it B, alkyl? Is it C, carboxylic acids? Or is it D, ketone? Okay, so answer mo, show mo. Excuse me. Ayan, tingnan natin. Sumasagot po. Ayan, sabi ng mga estudyante, ayan, sa mga learners natin, very active sila, no? Hello sa inyo dyan. Pasensya na si Tutor Bandong, medyo hindi feeling, medyo pa ubo-ubo si Tutor Bandong ngayong araw na to, no? Alright? Sabi ni Isabella, letter C daw. So, letter C ba kaya iyon? Okay, so what is the correct answer to this? Anyway, it's okay, no, kung hindi pa natin kayang itama yung sagot because ito naman ay pre-assessment. Okay, so the correct answer to this is aldehyde. All right, so that's it. That's our pre-assessment. So ngayon, pwede na tayong tumungo doon sa ating actual lesson. All right? Okay, so now, you are seeing on your screen, okay, a picture actually, no, ng mga actually common ito na nakikita nyo sa bahay. Yung isa naman itong formaldehyde sa sa mga morgue, ayan, may mga ganyan. Even sa laboratory din naman meron kasi nga itong formaldehyde kaya ay ginagamit na pag-preserve ng mga palaka, di ba, usually sa school no, nag-dissect ng palaka tapos pinipreserve yung palaka, so they're using formalin. And sa mga morgue, syempre ito yung ginagamit, no? And then, itong acetone, very familiar, lalo na yung mga girls kasi ginagamit nila yan dun sa panglinis ng kanilang mga nail polish, right? And it is an example of ketone, okay, na i-discuss natin later. And of course, itong alcohol na ito, lagi nyo itong nakikita, nung nakaraan nang nakita nyo ito, nung nakarang discussion. It's because, aside from, ito ay part ng ating lesson ngayon, ito ay may kinalaman din, no? Ngayon talagang usong-uso, di ba? Ito talaga ginagamit natin bagay. At hindi tayo nawawala nito dahil nga meron tayong virus na kumakalat or meron tayo hanggang ngayon, di ba, itong Omicron nga, no, na ating problema. Talagang medyo hirapan ako magsalita. Itong isopropyl alcohol na ito yung ginagamit natin to protect ourselves, di ba, sa virus nga, no? Nililinis natin natin mga sarili using this alcohol. Alright? Sandali lang. Ayan. Tutor Kevin, nasan ka? talagang nagpasaklolo na kay Tutor Kevin, no? Talagang medyo hirap ako magsalita, no? Talagang hinahabol ko aking hininga. Talagang medyo hirap tayo ng konti. Alright. Sana napapanood ako ni Tutor Kevin. Baka sumaklolo si Tutor Kevin. Alright. Ayan. Medyo nag-ano lang tayo ng konti. Freshen up. Ayan. So, hinihintay ko lang baka sakaling dumating si Tutor Kevin. Talaga medyo nahihirapan. Naiyak-iyak na ako. Alright. So, ito. Okay, so carbon forms covalent bonds with atoms of carbon or other elements. When it bonds only with hydrogen, it forms compounds called hydrocarbons. Alright? Ito ay tinatawag na hydrocarbons is because of the presence of hydrogen and carbon. Alright? So, kaya tinawag na hydrocarbons. Alright? Excuse me. Okay, next. Let's proceed. Pasensya na kayo. Nahiya tuloy ako sa ating mga viewers. No? Talagang medyo iba. Ako isa ako dun sa mga nabiktima ng, pero okay naman ako. Hindi naman ako, sa panahon lang talaga ngayon. Ano? So, let's proceed now. So, we are talking about hydrocarbons. And we have two types of this. And this is saturated and unsaturated hydrocarbons. When we talk about saturated hydrocarbons, pag sinabi kasing saturated, it has something to do with the maximum number of hydrogen atoms per bond na pwedeng mag-bond with the carbon atoms. Okay? Kaya tinawag itong saturated hydrocarbons. At ang example nga nito ay alkanes. Okay? So alkanes are hydrocarbon compounds that only have single bonds within the compounds. Okay? So, an example of that is ethane. At kapag niname natin yung alkanes, no, ang ending niya lagi ay ane. Okay, so the example you are seeing, the structure you are seeing on your screen right now is an example of alkane, which is an ethane. Okay, so you are seeing two carbon atoms, single bonded with hydrogen. And you are seeing the maximum number of hydrogen surrounding it. Kaya ito ay saturated hydrocarbon. And this is an example of alkanes. Okay? Single bond. Now, when we talk about unsaturated hydrocarbons. Okay, so before we proceed with unsaturated hydrocarbons, let's have another examples of alkanes. Okay, so let's have examples of that. So you are seeing there methane with CH4, so that's the structure. You have ethane, two carbon atoms, okay, single bonded with hydrogen, 6 hydrogen atoms. Excuse me. And then you have 3 carbon atoms. Okay, we have hydrogens then surrounding it. Okay, 8 hydrogen atoms surrounding that carbon. Okay, and then you have butane, pentane, hexane, heptane, octane, nonane, and decane. Right. So those are examples of alkanes, single bonded. Okay, with other carbon atoms. So these are all examples of alkanes. All right. Next. Now, ito yung sinasabi kong unsaturated hydrocarbons. A while ago, sabi ko yung saturated hydrocarbons, these are yung nare-reach yung maximum number of hydrogen atoms per carbon atoms bonded with it. So ito kaya tinawag na saturated because hindi nare-reach na. It's because of these characteristic na double bonds kasi and triple bonds naman for alkynes. Okay, so alkenes are hydrocarbons that have one or more carbon-to-carbon double bonds in their structure. The name of alkene compounds end in ene. Okay? Kanina, si alkanes ends in ane. Alkynes ends in yne. Right? Si alkynes naman, minimum of 1 carbon-carbon triple bond. Naka-triple bond naman ang alkynes. Okay, so alkenes double, ulit saturated hydrocarbon si alkanes, single bond, alkenes double bond, alkynes triple bond. Alright? Excuse me. Now, for alkynes, it contains a minimum of 1 carbon-to-carbon triple bond. The foremost common alkyne compound is ethyne or acetylene. The name of alkyne compound end in IYNE nga. Yun yung sinasabi ko kanina. Alright, so these are examples of unsaturated hydrocarbons. Alright? Now, let's proceed. So these are examples of alkenes. So kung kanina na yung examples ng alkenes, no, nag-i-end sa A and E. So all examples of alkenes will end in ENE. So ethene, propene, and you are seeing double bond there. Okay? Ethene, propene, butene, pentene, hexene, heptene, guanine, guanosine. Okay, so ENE, yung end name nila. If you name an alkenes. Alright? Now, for alkynes, ito naman. For alkynes, hydrocarbon compounds with triple bond, di ba? Binanggit natin yung triple bond kanina. At ang end niya ay YNE, that's the end. Okay, yung name niya, when we name this one, yung alkynes, mag-e-end siya sa YNE. So you will read this as ethyne, propyne, 1-butyne, 1-pentyne. Okay, because the bond is on the first metal group, 1-hexyne, 1-heptyne, 1-oxyne, 1-nonine, 1-decyne. Okay, so these are all examples of alkynes. All right? Now, so those are saturated hydrocarbons, which is alkanes. Unsaturated hydrocarbons, we have alkenes and alkynes. Again, I'm telling you, the saturated, it's saturated because it reaches the maximum number of hydrogen per carbon. Okay? Now, let's proceed with the derivatives. So we have the functional group for this one. Okay, so ano ba yung functional? No? When we say functional, yung properties, structures, and chemical reactions of the organic compounds, okay, are determined by its functional group. Okay, actually we have these types of functional group wherein it's divided into 4 actually. No? So we have this what we call the hydroxyl group. So itong hydroxyl, it involves alcohol and ethers, okay? And then the carbonyl group, okay, the carbonyl, we have the aldehydes and the ketones. The carboxyl group, also we have the carboxylic acid and these esters, okay? And the amino group, which we have these amines and amides, all right? So these are the functional group okay, we are talking about. Again, it's hydroxyl, carbonyl, carboxyl, and this amino group. And then we also have these alkyl halides. Okay? So, isa-isahin natin to, learners, no? Pero bago yan, sige, babati muna tayo, no? Para medyo nare-relax na. Good afternoon from Talahay. Hello po dyan. Okay, so from Diamantina, si Ayla May. Hello sa inyo dyan. Okay, so thank you so much sa pagtutok, no? Kahit medyo nahirapan si Tutor Bandong. Alam ko, hindi naman kayo aalis dyan at patuloy niyong susuportahan ng ating discussion. No? Dahil maganda naman itong topic, talaga medyo nahirapan lang si Tutor Bandong no? Sa pag-discuss dahil sa kanyang boses. Alright, hello Franalyn Galang from Gafud High School. Hello. Alright, so ayan nga, no? Nakikita niyo sa inyong screen ang ating functional group. Now, let's proceed with the discussion. Alright, so let us start with the alcohols. So yung alcohols are hydrocarbon derivatives, okay? With a general structure of R single bonded with a hydroxyl group. Okay, so yung OH ay hydroxyl group yan. Where R stands for hydrocarbon chain or let's say any metal group, okay, of the molecule. And this OH is the functional group called hydroxyl. I'm telling you, no? So it's an R. So R represents any metal group or stands for hydrocarbon chain. Okay, so remember what's a hydrocarbon chain? It's composed of carbon and hydrogen, right? Okay, and this OH is a hydroxyl group. Okay, so ibig sabihin pala niyan, ma'am, kanina diniscuss natin yung alkanes, di ba, no? So pagka, halimbawa, meron tayong methane, okay, na i-attach natin itong hydroxyl group okay, or itong OH na ito, magiging methanol. Right? So you have the methane attached to a hydroxyl group, it's a methanol, and then you have ethane attached to a hydroxyl group, it's ethanol, okay, so propanol, etc. Okay, so those are examples, okay, of alcohol. Now let's proceed with this one. Let's talk about ethers this time. So it is pronounced as ethers ha, hindi ethers. It's ethers. All right. So ethers are compounds in which two hydrocarbon groups are bonded to one oxygen atom. Okay, so they are usually represented by R, single bonded with O, single bond with R. Remember this R, no, any metal group, right? Okay, so or hydrocarbon chain, okay? So nakalagay din dyan where R and R can be the same or different hydrocarbon units. All right, now let's proceed. Let's have carboxylic acid this time. So ito naman carboxylic acid, they're also called organic acids, all right? So they need a more complex functional group, a mix of the, okay, a triple bond carbon, okay, double bonded with oxygen, okay, so with double bond oxygen of aldehydes and ketones, and therefore the hydroxyl of alcohols. So it's called the carboxylic acids may have quite one group, right? So later you will see the difference with the structure. Now I will discuss to you the structure of this one, okay, but let's proceed first with the aldehydes. So the aldehydes, they are formed when an oxygen atom is double bonded to the carbon atom at the end of the chain. So the functional group is the carbonyl group for the aldehydes, and we have this double bonded carbon is double bonded with oxygen. Right? So this is an aldehyde. All right. Next, let's proceed now. Let's have the ketones. What about ketones? So they have the same functional group as aldehydes, right? However, carbon is double bonded with O, occurs somewhere along the chain, rather on the end of the carbon chain. So that's the difference. So later you will notice that when I show you the structure, okay? Next, let's proceed with the esters this time. So ano naman yung esters? All right, so esters are made by reacting carboxylic acid with an alcohol. So producing ester and water, this process is called esterification. All right. So later you will also see the structure for these esters. And then we have, not the last, no? We still have another. So this one is the amines. So these amines have the general formula for R, so or any hydrocarbon chain. And then you will notice there's a nitrogen there, okay? Okay. NH2, okay? So R single bond with NH, okay? Single bond with R, and R single bond with R. Aniline is an example of an amine. All right. Now, let us have the amides. The amides. Amides have an amino acids. Okay, so single bond NH2 attached directly to a carboxyl group. Okay, they have the general formula for R, single bond with CON, H, and 2. So acetanamide is an amide. Okay, so that's an example for amides. All right. And then we also have these alkyl halides naman. So what is this alkyl halides? Okay, so alkyl halides are halogen-containing organic compounds with the general formula R, single bonded with X. These X are the halogens. So ano-ano ba yung mga halogens? If we will try to recall, no? Yung halogen natin, ito yung mga nasa group 7A. So that includes fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. Okay, so we also have acetylene and the latest one, which is tennessine. All right, so these are the halogen. Again, so these are fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, acetylene, and tennessine. So these are the halogens. So any hydrocarbon chain attached or single bonded with X or a halogen is an alkyl halides. All right?
Good afternoon, Tutor Bandong.
Hi. Hello.
Ayan. So samahan muna natin si Tutor Bandong, Science 9 learners, no?
Thank you so much, Tutor Rainier.
Okay,
nakita mo ba kung paano ako nag-struggle?
Oo nga eh. Talaga naman napaka-professional ni Tutor Bandong, no? Talagang tinatawid niya para sa bata talaga. Kaya I'm sorry, Tutor Bandong, kung ganyan yung nararamdaman mo today.
Oo, talagang
kasi sobrang lamig ngayon ng panahon, no? Kaya
talagang ganyan. Sabi ko nga, tinamaan din ako ng Pero ito, Tutor Rainier, medyo kumakalma ng konti, no?
Okay.
Kanina talagang sobra kapag ka talaga, ano yun, medyo hirap. Alright, ayan, grade 9 learners, no? Ito si Tutor Rainier, siya ay tutor from grade 10, pero sinamahan niya tayo ngayon. Dahil nga, thank you so much talaga, Tutor Rainier, no, for joining me today. Ayan, so Tutor Rainier, nasa alkyl-halides na ako actually.
Okay.
So, ito na. So, organic compounds kasi ang aking dinidiscuss. Ito, ipapakita ko na sa kanila, Tutor Rainier, itong mga structure. Okay, na, ayan na, nakikita natin sa screen natin, Tutor Rainier. So we have this.
So Tutor Vandong, no, meron tayo ditong table with 4 columns, no.
Yes.
Meron tayong names ng ating mga organic compounds. Tapos sinusundan to ng functional group para makita ng science 9 learners kung ano yung structure ng mga different organic compounds and the general formula and of course yung specific example. So dito sa ating alcohols, Tutor Vandong kasi nagturo na rin ako ng Science 9 actually for how many years at naging Science 9 online tutor na rin ako for the first tutor natin.
Discussing this, no? Yung organic compounds. So, alright, Tutor.
Yes.
Ay, Tutor Rainier.
Dito sa alcohols, no, Tutor Vandong, kita natin ang functional group na meron tong carbon at meron tong oxygen as the central atom at yung hydrogen. And the general formula, meron tayong R at naka-attach siya sa OH at ang example nito ay methanol. And for ethers naman, we have functional group. Meron tayo ditong C single bonded by carbon, no? And with oxygen and another carbon. And the general formula is R. And bonded sila. Central atom, which is oxygen atom. And then yung isa pang R. And then example is methyl ether. Yes, Tutor Vandong?
Ayan, so, Tutor Rainier, meron tayo namang carboxylic acids. Ayan, so nakikita nila yung functional group. Wherein, na-notice nila dyan, Tutor Rainier, yung O double bonded with the carbon. And then they notice also a single bond with O and an H. So, yun yung difference between dun sa kanina, no? Kasi nakikita nila yung difference na may mga double bond na, ayan, katulad niya ng oxygen, no? And sa general formula, so ayan nga yung R, which is any hydrocarbon chain attached to a carbon, and then double bonded nga yung O, and then you have there an OH. So, an example of that is acetic acid or ethanoic acid. Right? So, and also, Tutor Rainier, we also have the aldehydes there. So, dito naman si aldehydes, Tutor Kevin, Tutor Rainier. So,
ayan
nga, ang difference lang, Tutor Rainier, is that they will also notice na ito ay naka-attach lang dito sa hydrogen. Unlike yung kanina sa carboxylic, may O at may H. No? This time, obviously, there is also a double bonded ito dun sa oxygen, no? But the difference is that dito na sa side ay wala na yung oxygen, no? Hydrogen nila. So, an example of this is an ethanol or acetaldehyde. Okay, that is an example of aldehyde. And also kanina, Tutor Rainier, nabanggit ko yung example talaga na very common sila, no? Yung formaldehyde, which is formalin, na ginagamit nila sa mga morgue, no? Sa cadaver, ayan. So, kaya alam nila, example pala ng aldehyde, ang formalin. Alright.
Yes.
Okay, so Tutor Rainier, let's proceed now with this one.
Ayan, meron naman tayo dito, Tutor Vandong, ng next set natin. We have the ketones. At makita natin yung structural formula niya. Merong 3 carbon atoms and double bonded doon sa ating oxygen atom. And then ang ating general formula, we have R. And then, syempre, single attached sa carbon and then double bonded ulit sa oxygen. And then, isa pang letter R doon sa right side. And ethyl methyl ketone, ang isa sa magandang example ng ketones. For esters, we have carbon and then another carbon bonded with oxygen. Ito ay double bonded. And then bonded ulit, single bonded kay oxygen and then another carbon atoms. And for the general formula, we have R and then bonded kay carbon, double bonded kay oxygen, bonded ulit kay oxygen, and bonded ulit kay R. And then ethanoic. And for amine, somehow binabasa rin sa ibang textbook as amine. So meron tayong carbon and then single attached syempre sa ating nitrogen atom. And there are separate po na mga general formula. It depends kung anong specific example sila. We have methylamine and ethyl methylamine and ethyl methyl propylamine. So depende po kasi Tutor Vandong, no, pag talagang pinag-usapan natin yung hardcore talaga na chemistry when we are dealing with
Yes.
organic chemistry. Talaga specific na yung kanilang mga general formula.
Yes. Thank you so much, Tutor
Okay.
Rainier. Now, let's proceed with this one. So, we have this time, ito naman ay amide. Alright, so this amide,
Yes.
okay, so you will notice also, ayan nga, yung oxygen double bonded with C. Siyempre pa yung carbon, no, single bonded yan with the hydrogen. Obviously, it's a hydrogen group, no? And then, may single bonded with nitrogen also. Okay, and ayan nga, yung kanyang general formula, you have O double bonded with C, and then you have nitrogen, and you have hydrogen. Okay? And yung argon, yung any metal group nga or hydrocarbon chain, deuterainer, and an example of amide is acetamide. Okay? And we also
Yes.
have this alkyl halide, wherein there is a, you see, bonded with or attached with an X, and this X deuterainer, diniscuss ko kanina itong mga halogens. Deuterainer wherein these
Yes po.
halogens are composed of this fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, astatine, and this tennessine. Ito yung medyo pinaka-latest, no? So, ayun nga yung R or any hydrocarbon chain bonded with a halogen or with this X. All right? So, an example of that is the methyl chloride. Ayan. So, Tutor Rainier, bago ko magpatuloy, no, binabati ko lang yung mga learners natin. So, naninibago siya, sino kaya yung Kasi usually grade 9 learners ang ating mga kinikator. So sabi, si Tutor Rainier. Tutor Rainier, para dun sa mga bagong katututok lang sa atin, Tutor Rainier is from Grade 10 Science. Mamaya pa siya sana dapat, pero tinulungan niya tayo. Alright? Ayan, so Tutor Rainier, dito na tayo sa mga, actually na-discuss na yung organic compounds, yung uses nito, pero mapahapyaw lang, Tutor Rainier,
Yes.
kasi this time kasama yung functional group na. Okay? So, Tutor Rainier?
Dito po, Science 9 learners, no, ipipresent natin yung different uses ng different functional groups natin na na-discuss na rin ni Tutor Vandong. So, kapag we are dealing with alcohols or glycerol is added to skin products as moisturizer. Usually, ito yung mga nagiging skincare, no, na regimen ng mga, especially girls or female. Eh, ganoon na rin mga boys ngayon, no? So, gumagamit ito ng mga ganitong products as moisturizer. And ethers, meron din tayong gamit as anesthetic, and it is used as valuable solvent of gums, fats, and essential oils. And Tutor Vandong, para naman sa carboxylic acid rather, meron itong specific na citric acid found in fruits, contain 3 carboxylic acid groups. And usually ito ay talagang maganda rin sa katawan, no? Lalo na kapag kailangan natin ng specific na vitamins and minerals, kailangan po ito.
Kanina nga, Tutor Rainier, nagpakita ako sa kanila ng iba't ibang prutas binigay sa akin ni Mima.
Wow.
Merienda ko kanina, sabi ko, ito yung aking merienda because it has something to do with the lesson nga. Ayan, nabanggit mo na, Tutor Rainier. Alright, let's proceed with this next set, Tutor Rainier. So we have this, what we call aldehydes. Alright, so ano naman itong aldehydes? So, formalin as an example, is commonly used in embalming, ayun nga, nabanggit natin, no? And preserving tissues of specimens. Sabi ko sa kanila, nakikita ito sa mga morgue, ayan. Pwede rin naman sa mga laboratory na natin sa science, di ba? Kung meron lang face-to-face, no, pwede natin silang pakita na, ito, nakapreserve itong palaka using this formaldehyde or formalin. Alright, so we also have these ketones. Okay, so ang uses nito sa organic compound ay acetone, an example of this, commonly used to remove paint, ay nga, varnish, and nail polish. Tutor Rainier. And we also have these esters wherein ito nga yung distinctive odors and flavors of many flowers and ripe fruits such as mango and pineapple are due to the presence of esters. Ayun, sabi ko kanina, nung inamoy ko yung binigay ni Mima, Tutor Rainier, talaga namang napakabango. Okay, sabi ko, ayan, yung distinctive odors nito, it's because of that, no, itong ating presence nitong esters. Alright? So, Tutor Rainier, let's proceed now with this one.
Yes po. For the amines, the smell of rotting fish is due to the presence of trimethylamine. So, nito, actually, napaka-pungent. Yung adjective dito is pungent. Yung malansa, Tutor Vandong, no? Pero meron din itong mga specific talaga na uses sa functional group. For the amide, organic compounds present in nylon, silk, wool, contain hundreds of amide groups. And for alkyl halide, the non-stick coating of pan is made up of Teflon. Alam naman natin yung Teflon, no, specific to na brand ng cookware natin na talagang hindi dumidikit yung mga niluluto natin kahit walang oil. Kasi meron itong alkyl halide. Next po.
Ayan. So, ayun na nga, Tutor Rainier. So, yung ating mga diniscuss, no, na kailangan nilang matutunan ngayon. Pero, sabi ko nga, alam ko naman kahit na, di ba, medyo nag-struggle, ayan, na dumating sa rescue si Tutor Rainier, kaya na-iraos natin itong lesson. Kaya naman, Tutor Rainier, dadako na tayo because I know, no, marami talaga namang natutunan din ang ating mga learners na yan, no? Katulad ng mga learners natin. Okay, from Ramon National High School na nakatutok hanggang ngayon, and we have from Malabo National High School, of course. We have from Doña Magdalena Gafud High School. Hello sa inyo from Tala High School. Ayan sila at nakatutok, Tutor Rainier. So let's now proceed with the quiz, Tutor Rainier, no?
Yes po.
So,
okay.
Ito yung direction natin. Read each question carefully, then write your answer in the comment section. Ayan. So lahat ng learners natin na nakatutok ngayon, na please, gamitin natin ang ating comment section to answer the quiz. Alright? So let's proceed with the first question. All right, Tutor Rainier.
Okay, let me read the Tutor Vadong. Question number 1. Amidst COVID-19, the Department of Health advised everyone to thoroughly disinfect their hands with blank. Is it A, formalin, B, kerosene, C, isopropyl alcohol, or D, acetone? Again, amidst COVID-19, DOH advised everyone to thoroughly disinfect their hands with blank. Okay? Kindly type your answer sa ating comment section, Tutor Vandong, no?
Oo nga, tingnan natin ang mga sagot. Answer mo, show mo tayo ngayon. Tingnan natin ang mga sagot ng ating mga learners. Ayan, medyo delay lang ng konti, pero alam kong magsasagot yung mga yan, Tutor Rainier. Ayan, hintayin natin at alam kong sila ready na ring magsagot. Ayan.
Sige lang. So wag niyo po kalimutan na i-share yung ating video, yung ating online session, no? Kahit pwede pa nating i-share mamaya #TeamReplay para maraming makanood po ng ating online session dito sa Science 9.
So ayan, nagsagot na sila, Tutor Rainier, and their answer is, ayan, sabi ni Jester, sabi ni Alicia, and ni Iris, lahat sila ay letter C, and obviously it's our correct answer. So
yes, isopropyl alcohol.
Alright, so let's proceed now with question number 2. Which of the following structure is a carbonyl compound? Ayan, they are seeing the structure there. Alin kaya dyan ang carbonyl compound? Alright, so base doon sa diniscuss natin kanina. Okay, so tingnan natin. Is it A, B, C, or D? Answer mo, show mo. Tingnan natin ang learners. Alright, so they are answering. Ayan. So
tinatanong natin dito, Tutor Vandong, no, yung structure ng carbonyl o carbonyl compound. Ayan.
Oo, ayan. Ayan, so ayan, tingnan natin. Ina-analyze silang maigi yan, Tutor Rainier. Ayan naman.
Yes po.
Okay, ayan, sabi
Tutor Vandong, itong mga topics na to, no, ito yung talagang minsan hindi na rin na-discuss, no? Kasi sa kaduluduluhan na rin ng last time nung naalala ko yung hindi pa yung talaga wala pang pandemic, ito yung talagang hinahabol namin na lessons kasi talagang nasa dulo na to yung mga ganitong organic compounds na lessons.
Alright. So the correct answer to this, Tutor Rainier, is letter C. All right.
Letter C, yes.
All right. So let's proceed now with question number 3.
So this is our question number 3. What organic compound is used by embalmers in treating human cadavers? Nabanggit yan ni Tutor Vandong kanina. It's letter A, acetic acid. Letter B, formaldehyde. Letter C, methyl alcohol. Or letter D, acetone. Ano ginagamit ng mga nag-e-embalsamo, no? Para sa ating mga human cadavers? Acetic acid, formaldehyde, methyl alcohol, or acetone? Okay.
So ayan, alam nila yan dahil palagi nilang naririnig sa atin kanina. Yes. Alright, so ayan na, sumasagot na sila. Sabi nila letter B daw. Okay, sabi ni Irish yan, sabi ni Jester again, sabi ni Alicia. Alright, and the correct answer to this is actually really formaldehyde. Ayan, alam naman nila yan. Alright, let's proceed now Tutor Rainier with question number 4, and this one. So which of the following pairs of organic compounds is highly flammable? Is it A, gasoline? Is it A, gasoline and acetone? B, water, ethyl alcohol? Is it C, lubricating oil, isopropyl alcohol? Or is it D, liquefied petroleum gas and kerosene? So anong kaya dyan yung mga highly flammable? Anong compounds yan? Anong set ng compounds yan? Ang highly flammable. Alright, so answer mo, show mo. So ayan, medyo ina-apply na natin, no, Tutor Rainier, yung kanilang mga natutunan. Tingnan natin kung alam nilang i-apply yan. Ayan, sabi ni Eleanor, ni Ma'am Eleanor. Hello, Ma'am Eleanor. Letter D daw. Right. So sabi ni Henchel, letter D. Alright. Obviously, the correct answer to this is letter D, Tutor Rainier. Okay, so let's proceed now, Tutor Rainier, with the last question.
Okay. Sa ating question number 5, it is a compound that has a hydroxyl group bonded to a carbon atom. Is it A, alcohol, B, ester, C, ether, or D, halides?
Alright. So, alin kaya dyan ang tamang sagot, learners? Alright? So, alin dyan yung hydroxyl group bonded to a carbon atom? Obviously, narinig nila kanila yung hydroxyl na yan, ang lagi nating binabanggit. Kaya alam nila na yan ay letter A, Tutor Rainer.
Yes.
Alright.
Sorry, Tutor Bando, kung maganon-ganon ako kasi naka-live na rin kami sa kabila. So, ganon-ganon na tayo. Go lang tayo.
Pero
Laban
don't worry,
lang.
Tutor Rainer, dahil alam kong oras na talaga, tapos na dapat, no? Pero kaya nga, ilalagay ko na ang itong words to ponder. Okay? So, Tutor Rainer, ito yung aking words to ponder. Whenever there is emotional attachment, kasi nababanggit yung attachment kanina, and or emotional bonding, there will always be true love. O, di ba? Ganda ng words to ponder. It's because
napapanahon yan, Tutor Bandong.
Napapanahon ito, no? Kaya nga, hindi lang naman ito may kinalaman doon sa personal relationship.
Yes.
Ito yung pwede rin sa work, sa pag-aaral, di ba? Kapag attached ka doon sa pag-aaral mo, and talaga namang bonded ka dyan, Tutor Rainer, talaga namang alam na alam ko na love mo yung ginagawa mo. Okay? Na may true love doon sa iyong ginagawa. Okay?
Sana all may true love.
Sana all may true love. At sana all laging may attachment at bonding na nagaganap. Alright?
Yes,
Tutor Rainer, I'm so thankful na talaga namang ako ay sinamahan mo ngayong araw na ito dahil alam mo yun, talaga medyo hirap ako kanina pero okay na, no? So, thank you so much, Tutor Rainer, dahil ikaw na ang susunod sa ngalan ni Tutor Kevin. Ako po si Tutor Bandong na nagpapasalamat at sinamahan niyo akong muli dahil ayan po si Tutor Rainer na nakikita niyo sa inyong screen. Okay? Siya na po talaga ay pang grade 10 science. Kaya naman, nag-umpisa na ang kanyang lesson. Kaya naman, ako'y magpapaalam na din sa inyong lahat. Sana po ay natuto kayo ngayon. Araw na ito, ngayong week na ito, sa ating week 6, no? So maraming salamat at sana po sa susunod na Lunes, wala na akong ubo, Tutor Rainer. At si Tutor Kevin. Ayan, congratulations, Tutor Kevin. Maraming salamat po, no, sa inyong pagtutok. At syempre po, kung meron po kayong mga comments, etc., pwede naman po itong, i-scan nyo lang po itong QR code na ito. Maraming salamat again, Tutor Rainer, at sa ating mga learners, teachers, and parents. Sa ngalan din po ni Tutor Kevin. Tutor Rainer, thank you so much.
Bye-bye po.
Alam sa inyo,
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Maraming salamat, learners, teachers, and parents. Thank you.
Ang husay naman! Natapos mo ang iyong tutorial session kasama ang iyong mahusay na ETUlay tutor. May bago ka bang natutuhan? I-share na yan gamit ang hashtag #ETUlayLevelUp. Huwag aalis dahil may susunod pang programa na pwede mo ring panoorin at salihan dahil naghihintay na ang iyong mga tutors. Happy learning dito sa ETUlay!